Hello everyone, welcome back from Thanksgiving break. I hope that everything was safe and that you ate a lot of good food. Um, so today I only have really two things on the agenda. One is to go over a sample essay with you that will hopefully give you a better idea about how to structure your own essay. And second is to go over the requirements for the second draft. We don't have much left for the semester. Really just that second draft and your final draft, which is going to be due on Monday, a week from November 30th, so Monday of finals week. Um, so it is really important that you stay on track and are submitting everything on time and really motivating yourself to finish the semester strong. So the first thing here I have for you is a sample essay. As you might notice, it does not have APA format for the title page. So make sure you do have APA format for your title page, and we'll go over that in a second. So I want to just highlight kind of the structure of what's happening here because it seems like some people are a little confused, and it's important to think about structure in order to get that final 4 to 5 pages. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough room to explore all of your ideas fully. I also will say, if you hear anything in the background, it's either my cat or the dishwasher, which is running. Okay, so we start off with the introduction. As you can see here, this introduction, this topic is about zebras. So building a more complex definition of zebras in the movie or in the book Life of Pi. So they start out with a kind of interesting quote or interesting source information fact. That's the word, fact about zebras, about how in ancient history zebras were trained to pull chariots at Roman circuses. And then they kind of introduce the place of the zebra in the book Life of Pi, and finally end with that really strong thesis statement. So that's something that all of you all need to make sure that you're doing is at the very end of your introduction, which will probably end up being longer than this one, you'll want to make sure you have your thesis statement. Now, we went over this in class, but a really strong format for your thesis statement is this: in order to fully understand whatever your topic is, one must first examine, and then whatever you're going to examine in your assignment. Now, this sounds familiar because we went over the outline of this essay earlier, and we discussed that outline and this thesis statement structure in class. If you did not end up using that thesis statement that we wrote in class together, I highly recommend going back and using that instead. It will guide you in the correct way to address this topic. Okay, so then the essay moves into this dictionary definition quote. So you can tell that they're using a dictionary definition because they're talking about Merriam-Webster. And you want to make sure that for your essays, all of you guys are doing topics that you won't really have just a word in a dictionary. That won't sum it up for you. You'll want to be looking at an encyclopedia definition, which is probably Encyclopedia Britannica. If you Google whatever your topic is and Encyclopedia Britannica or just encyclopedia, it will come up, and that's where you can get the very basic definition of your topic. This is just the bare bones. These are the facts about whatever your topic is. For some of you, I'm thinking for Brandy with Jefferson Davis, that'll probably be the history of it. And that's totally fine. That's the basic understanding of whatever that topic is. So you can see here we're doing we're still introducing the dictionary definition here. We've still got this in-text citation afterwards. We're not just plopping the quote in there without any sort of signal phrase before it. We've got according to Merriam-Webster, so that might be according to Encyclopedia Britannica for you guys who are using encyclopedias. And then throughout, even when we're paraphrasing, we're still citing that in here in text. So basically giving basic facts about the zebra. So then we move into history, and we know it's history because the word history is literally used. So remember that your topic sentence or the first sentence of each paragraph should clue us in to what kind of context that you're going to be addressing in your paragraph. So you should make sure you have a really strong topic sentence at the beginning of each paragraph that clues us in, hey, we're going to talk about history now, we're going to talk about culture, whatever that might be. So here we're just going through the history of how zebras have been treated by humans, being hunted, almost killed off, and the human efforts at conservation. So this is all the history of the zebra, and if you go back to the thesis statement, you can see here that this student has actually flipped what their thesis statement should have been. So if I were leaving comments on this student's essay, I would say you should have put history in your thesis statement first rather than culture, because you talk about history first. So make sure your thesis statement lines up with the order you're going to go in. Okay, so talk about the history, and then we come into culture because we're talking about African folklore. So this is, as you can see, they keep talking about the cultural significance for multiple paragraphs, and that's totally fine. You will probably have multiple paragraphs about the most important types of context you're going to be talking about. So they talk about first general African folklore, and then they move into Kenya and specific Kenyan beliefs. And then after that, they get into the analysis portion. So they've set up the understanding of, or a new understanding of their topic, the zebra, based on only summary of these different sources they've found. And then they come back to Life of Pi, which is their book that they've gotten this topic from, and they summarize the zebra's role in Life of Pi. So that might be something that you do here at this point, is summarize whatever your original text is or your original movie. You don't have to do that at the beginning. If you don't want to, you can do it here, or you can do it in your introduction. Either way is totally fine. But at some point you will want to summarize the main points of that original text or movie. So then we, after the summary, we move into the actual analysis portion, and we went over this in the outline that we covered in class, I think maybe week 14 or week 15. So we've got, social commentary based on the history with humans. We've got the cultural implications and how maybe you can reread the zebra in Life of Pi as representing community. And then, of course, we've got our conclusion here. So the analysis for this essay, this particular student's essay, was 2 paragraphs, and that's totally fine. You can have 1 paragraph, you can have 3 paragraphs, it doesn't matter, as long as you have some sort of analysis in the essay. And you see they were slightly short of the full 4 pages. So do make sure that your essay is expanding all of your ideas as much as possible. They probably could have expanded some of these shorter paragraphs. And then at the very end, you'll see we've got a references page that is APA format. Okay. So that is a sample essay for you. The other thing I will go over before I disappear into the ether is your second draft, which is due this Friday on the 4th. So this will look familiar. Your normal requirements needs to be 12-point, Times New Roman font, double space. It should be around 800 words. Remember, your final draft is going to be 4 to 5 pages, so that is around, I think, 1,200 words. So you'll want to make sure that you are on track for that 800 words, and I will be reading and giving feedback on this, remember, for you to revise for that Monday of finals week final draft due date. You need to make sure you use APA style in this draft, so it needs a title page, it needs in-text citations, and it needs a references page. In-text citations, really, really important, otherwise it can be considered plagiarized, and that is not good. It should follow the general outline that we just covered in the sample essay, and then make sure that it's all on topic. So you should be relying primarily on your sources to build the context, build that definition of whatever your topic is, and then at the end you come back to whatever your original text, your original article, your original movie, whatever it is, and you think about how your new understanding influences your interpretation of that original text or movie. Alright, so that's all I've got for you. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me, and I can get back to you through email, or we can set up a Zoom conference meeting sometime this week. Just make sure you reach out early enough, not on, Friday at 11 o'clock, and that way I can have plenty of time to get back to you, and no one will feel stressed out. I mentioned this in the 100 lecture video, but do make sure that you check your assignments for both English 100 and 101. Do both of those, and that you're keeping on track with everything for the rest of the semester so we can finish strong, everybody can pass the class. Alright, any questions or concerns, reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see you in whatever the final video lecture is.